You're just moments away from a brand new episode of WTF Nations Radio's Pop Culture Warrior, hosted by the dynamic duo CQ and Radar. Pop Culture Warrior is your number one source for all things entertainment. If it's happening in TV, movies, video games, or comedy, they're all over it. And don't forget to say hi in the comments below. And while you're at it, let the boys know what you think and what you'd like to hear them talk about. Now strap in and get comfortable, because you're in for one hell of a ride. This is Pop Culture Warrior. Shots.
Broadcasting live from the basement of a Pentagon. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Welcome everybody. Today is June 8th, 2021. This is episode 60 of Pop Culture Warrior, the show where I stay up to date on all the ins and outs of what's happening in pop culture so you don't have to. Whew. I am CQ, I'm the Pop Culture Warrior, and with me as always, no. With me is not as always. We have a special guest tonight because Radar had to tend to some secret squirrel stuff, so he had to go and do stuff. So, secret caller, please reveal yourself. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Ice, the one,
man.
the only, the Iceman cometh.
Yeah, how you doing, guys? No, man. Anytime to pop culture geek out, man, I get to. Where Radar's not going to be in, hell, I have no qualms with coming.
Jumped at the chance, man.
Yep, exactly. What you been up to, man?
Oh man, bit of this, bit of that. It's been a week. First and foremost, thank you guys for checking us out, man. I see you guys in the chats already. Jessica, Mike, Joe. Who else we got? Mike, if you're not 15 minutes early, you're late. Yeah, I know. 15 minutes prior to the 15 minutes prior. What's up, Corey, Mike, everybody? Hey, guys.
Excellent.
We are live. We got Ice. We got so many things to cover. I'm so excited. And for those that took a peek at our schedule at what we have announced. I mean, later tonight, we've got Scott Mann joining us. Ice, man, I feel like you know this guy better than just about anybody. Can you give us a tease? Can you tickle the audience with what they can expect from Scott?
Man, well, first off, Scott Mann's coming on, and if you guys don't know already who Scott Mann is, he was the creator and writer for the play Elegy of a Green Beret. And it's almost like, and I don't want to, I can't talk enough about it. I can just keep blabbing about this, but it's like it's a play that covers the tragedy of war and loss and letting go, and also talks about healing. It also brings closure to you. You know, just I don't know, just hard to explain. You just got to watch it. First it was a play, then it was like Hamilton,
Mhm.
shot like, you know how Hamilton became a movie. Really it was just somebody filming a play, and
Mhm.
that's the same thing with a little bit of a latitude because it's film, and it was for a limited release only. And Scott Mann, the creator of this and the writer, he just decided to. I don't want to steal his thunder, man, but it's
Yeah.
just if you saw it on the 26th when we had the limited release and you didn't feel something,
Oh
man,
man.
and I mean, I think everybody in the shop, I think we were all in and the WTF staff were kind of like quiet for a few days after we saw it. We just kind of like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm gonna go, go hang out.
Yeah,
Talk to
I'm
you
gonna
later.
log off for a little bit. I'll be back.
Exactly, man. I was like, God, dude, it's a great film. So I don't want to steal Scott's thunder, but yeah, I mean, we met through just mutual connections in the soft community, and we just developed a friendship through that. Members of veterans from the 82nd Airborne Division II, retired CSM as well. It just kind of like one of those. Hey, did you hear this is happening? Oh, really? Well, what's this about? And then you just realize, oh shit, I know. Oh yeah, let's check that out. And
Yeah, you
it
got
just
to
kind
get
of grew.
involved.
Yeah, it just grew. So I'm glad we were part of it, man.
Yeah, yeah. We we put it up on the page. It was streamed out live. I watched it, and man, like you said, it hit me so hard and so deep. I mean, it was. I'm sure somebody's gonna clip that and play it back to me later. No, it was emotional. It was great. It was. I felt a lot of the feelings that it all that stuff comes bubbling out, and I know I was talking to you before too that like that day, that morning, I had found out a good friend of mine had passed, and so and a military veteran as well, and yeah, so just between that and then watching it was a powerful day for me.
Yeah, dude.
So I'm really looking forward to that chat with Scott. I think it's going to be awesome. I think we're going to learn a lot, and I'm excited for it. So anyway,
Exactly.
what else we got? Okay, so lots to cover, lots to cover, lots to cover, lots to cover. Uh, First and foremost, and I know we were just talking about this before, but guys, we are days away. Not even days. Tomorrow. Tomorrow. Is it? It's tonight because it comes out
I was about to
Wednesday,
say it's
but it's at
yes,
midnight.
yeah.
Tonight at, I mean, on Eastern time, it'd be 3 a.m., but at 3 a.m. Eastern time, midnight, Pacific, Loki, the series, debuts on Disney Plus, and I'm
Right.
so stoked. I will literally wake up probably at like 5 in the morning and go watch it. I'm excited for that one. Yeah, I mean, you're up today. You've seen the WandaVision, you've seen the Falcon, the Winter
Yeah.
Soldier. Are you excited for
Yep.
Loki?
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited, but I'm kind of. I'm gonna like I said, like you've asked me before to keep an open mind on the other shows when you told me not to pan them so quick. I'm gonna keep an open mind on this. I just have some questions about where is he in the timeline from this? It looks like he was pulled from a timeline,
Hmm.
like he was pulled from somewhere to begin some trial or whatever. And so I'm kind of like I'm optimistic, but because I like the actor that plays Loki. He's an awesome actor.
Yep, Tom Hiddleston.
Um, yeah, and I don't know. It's just that whole healed. I guess you'd say recovering villains always seem to have a better character
Right.
in some of this stuff. So, but again, I'm going to be optimistic. I don't really want to know what it's about yet. So, I mean, I'm kind of like just seeing what's going to happen next. But I don't know. I'm pretty. Like I said, I'm pretty optimistic about it.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I think it's going to be a very fun show. WandaVision gave us the kind of the grief, right? The almost that PTSD, that
Yeah,
trauma, and
exactly.
then, Falcon and Winter Soldier took on, power, responsibility, social justice, right? It had a message. This one, I think, is just meant to be this fun, wacky, silly, zany, off the wall,
Exactly.
time
Exactly.
hopping, kind of like a time heist kind of a movie.
Right.
And so, it takes place the Loki that escaped in Endgame. He took the Tesseract and he disappeared.
Yep.
He splintered the timeline, and so now the Time Variance Agency, the TVA, has captured him, and they're putting him to work trying to repair the timeline that he broke. So it's going to be interesting because this is Loki before the turn back to fun Loki. This is Loki like right after crazy mind altered Thanos puppet Loki, right before he, you know, he went through all the trials and tribulations that he came out the other side good. So it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be interesting. You know, do they give him a mind meld, right? Where they're like, okay, we'll give you the memories of the other Loki, so that it's the same guy. Is it he just has to live up to the reputation of the Loki that preceded him? I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. So
it's but getting when you get into the time dynamics,
yeah,
that's what I'm saying. When you have to come in here with you have to watch these shows with an open mind, because when you don't and you start analyzing and overanalyzing it, you'll get kind of confused. I mean, I do. I'll get kind of confused. I'm like, man, I'm just gonna you know what? I'm just gonna wait until I see this stuff, so that way, you know, we're good to go, and I'm not getting confused on the timeline stuff, because the time paradox, and like you said, it's the time, you know, authority, and you could get confused if you're just like trying to assume your own analysis on this before you watch the show.
That's right. Yeah, because like how can you that because it's the complications of time travel, right? Like
exactly.
Is it follow the rule where whatever you do was always done, so it's always happened, so there is no break? It's an infinite loop you can't break out of, right? Or is it you know, and this is what Endgame was trying to do, was that like anytime you change the past, you're in essence creating a new future. It's a separate timeline. So I don't know. It's just It's
well, it was. I mean, it was actually trying. I mean, that's the best thing about it. You know, it was the whole the Avengers universe, when it came to that, where they were talking about quantum mechanics of time. They were loosely talking about
very
it, of course,
loosely,
but yeah, and it's just like, you know, the concept of movement between certain points, and then like you said, where it branches out through different timelines. I'm just curious. Again, I'm just curious to see where this goes.
Yeah, absolutely. Hey, Pete, I see you. Hey, what's up, buddy? I was trying to give you guys a hey back when I get a hey, because, you know, appreciate you guys checking this out. So other than Loki, which again, super stoked for, I will definitely watch, and then I don't know, post about my feelings on the first episode. If I can't contain myself. Oh, that's right. We don't have I was gonna say I'll wait till next week and we'll talk about it, but I'm not gonna be here next week. We're working on that. I'm taking a week off.
You taking some time off. That's cool.
I gotta take a day off, man.
You can take a time out. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with taking some time off when you're busy and, you know, in the hustle and bustle and all that. You can get some rewinds up, and then we'll post a rewind or something.
That's right. Speaking of which, yeah, guys, check out youtube.com/PCW Rewind. I got a bunch of them up there. I got Clark Gregg, Louis Anderson, who else? PJ Walsh, Rod Lurie. So a bunch of really, really, really great interviews. I also started, you know what, Mice? I was like, you know what? It's great to have the interview stuff, but I want to, you know, throw up some stuff there that, you know, people can see other sides of CQ, other sides of Pop Culture Warriors. So I threw up a couple of my old stand-up bits are on there, and there'll be other stuff eventually. Anytime I have a video or something, I'm just gonna put it there. Let people laugh at me. I'm used to
Nothing wrong with that. No, nothing wrong with that, man. Sometimes you got to showcase yourself to see how people, you know, show people how you are, man.
Let the people see. Exactly. Okay, so speaking of things coming up in the next couple of days, this is you know what? Let me jump to my headline here. Hang on a second. Let's do power swing. I'm gonna get like, anyway, whatever. I always say, like, I want to get like a theme music for each category. Yeah, it's like whatever. So speaking of rumors and things coming in the next few days, there is a rumor. I'm putting this out here. It is a rumor that Sony is preparing to release the trailer for the next Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, in the next 2 days. They're speculating June 10th. Why that day? I don't know. But internal rumors, I've got some people inside the insides, and, you know, they pass along little tidbits to me now and then, and my little birdies told me that June 10th is the expected arrival of the release of the first Spider-Man Far From No Way Home trailer. So just throwing that out there. So if it happens, you can say you heard it here first. Are you excited? Do you like the Spider-Man movies?
Yeah, in and out. I mean, when it comes to some of the Spider-Man stuff, Spider-Man in the Multiverse, that was pretty cool. Only because it gave an entirely different outlook on how Spider-Man can be told. You know what I mean? It was, I don't know, I thought it was pretty cool. I liked it. I mean, just the way the whole story. I like the very first Spider-Man. Everyone talks about who's the better Spider-Man. It's almost like saying who's the better Batman.
Yeah.
Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, or Ben Affleck. Who's the better Joker? You know what I mean? That's that argument that can go back and forth.
Yeah.
But yeah, the original series, with the original actor was Tobey Maguire. That was I thought it was a good.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good setup.
It's so funny. I literally had this conversation a couple days ago about who's the best Spider-Man. Which, guys in the chats, who's your favorite Spider-Man? I want to hear what you think. But this is what I boil it down to, because I'm a huge Spider-Man fan. I'm a diehard Spider-Man. One of my favorites of all time, Spider-Man. And I realize now that we've gotten different right? Because every time you get one, I'm like, oh my God, Tobey Maguire, oh, greatest Spider-Man ever. And then Andrew Garfield came, oh my God, greatest Spider-Man ever. And then Tom Holland, oh my God, greatest Spider-Man ever. Because you're excited for the new playthings. But now that we have this sampling of different styles and different iterations, different variations of Spider-Man, I can appreciate certain things that each person brought to that role. I really do feel that Tobey Maguire was the best Peter Parker. He was the best, this nerdy, unconfident, unsure, quirky dude.
Awkward. He was just awkward.
Super awkward, and he had terrible luck. Everything always fell apart around him. He was the best Peter Parker. Now, Andrew Garfield, I really do feel he captured that super over the top Spider-Man, that cornball, silly, zany with the quips and the like. It was almost like ad-libbing, and he that essence of Spider-Man that was just super silly and super over the top. I thought he brought that quality out really well. And then Tom Holland, it's like nails, I think, just kind of the look, the feel of Spider-Man, both Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and really then just kind of the emotional connections with the people around him, right? We feel more his relationships, and I always felt, like with Tobey's Spider-Man and Andrew's Spider-Man, it felt like it was their movie, and then there was just other people around, where with Tom Holland's, you really do feel the connections with with his friend Ned and with Zendaya and the girl he likes, and
I can see that. Yeah. I don't know. It's just the other actors. I mean, they kind of. Maybe it's because I'm so used to seeing the I don't know, just maybe it was because of a different look. When you see an actor differently, you could see, okay, yeah, he could pass for Spider-Man.
Right.
Yeah, I could see that. And he could pass for he could pass for Spider-Man too. But then you see Tom Holland. Andrew Garfield looks like he's related to Hayden Christensen, the guy who played Anakin Skywalker. It looks like they're related. So if there was like a stunt double or a body double, it'd be Andrew Garfield. Tobey Maguire, I don't. When you're used to seeing that, then it's funny. But then it's uncanny how they could be interchangeable. But Tom Holland, I think because I got comfortable watching Tom Holland when he was in the Avengers, that I got used to him. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
After you saw him, after you kind of saw him in that role, with the other characters, then you can go, I could get used to him. Yeah, he could be a good Spider-Man, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So speaking of superheroes and their looks, we have the first look. Right now they're filming Shazam 2: Fury of the Gods. So we have our first look at Mr. Zachary Levi, who's playing the titular role of the character Shazam. And you can see that they modified the costume quite a bit, actually. It looks very different, and I'm sure they're gonna like CGI the cape I'm sure that'll be an aftermarket kind of a thing. But like they changed the bolts, they changed kind of the bracelets and the belt, and the red's a much darker. I don't know. I can't describe, like, the dragon scale kind of look to it is new. So I don't know, man. Dude,
it doesn't look campy. That's, you know what I mean? That's the
yeah,
whole thing. I'm kind of digging the new superhero outfits and stuff like that. It just looks like it would be if it was built today or if it was built in the future.
right.
That's what it would look more. It wouldn't look all campy or goofy looking. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
I was gonna say the same thing, that this is a, because you can go what X-Men did, right, in the early 2000s, where it went like no costumes, it's just leather jackets and maybe a mask or something like that. So you can go super away from tradition and super away from campy, and then you can lean like super heavy into it, like Batman Forever with, like, the Riddler and the question mark jumpsuit and things like that. So I do think they're nailing that, not super over the top cartoony campy, but also not so far that we're gonna be like gritted in realism. Like he wouldn't wear red tights. He'd wear sweatpants and I don't know, a hoodie. Like, no, it's it's, you want that in your superhero. You want somebody who's you want the outfit. That's part of it.
Well, that's and again, I don't want to go back to the Batman thing, but that's why Batman did so well, is because it looked like it could be possible. You know what I mean? Batman looked like he could be. Kaz says every male superhero deserves a bulge. So,
That's right.
no, but Batman, just the way, the Nolan series of Batman, you could see, yep, if Batman was to exist right now in our time, like in our presence right now in the present, that's what I would see how a Batman would look like. The same thing with Shazam. You know what I mean? Exactly what it just.
Yeah.
It just looks like it. It just looks like it's plausible.
Yeah, with Batman, I mean, you see these SWAT team guys, you see these, special forces guys who wear all these, modular gear and, all these things. So you can see, like, okay, yeah, wild spin off of that, plus $1 billion and prototype tech. Then yeah, it makes sense. And Kaz, yes, it's it's the bulge it's not the bulge we need, but it's the bulge he deserves, for sure.
It's the bulge. It's the bulge he deserves. Exactly.
That's right. That's right.
Super bulge.
Mike Larson in the Pop Culture Warrior chat says he feels like the bolt should be a bit bigger, otherwise it looks good. Yeah, like in the first one, it was a massive bolt, not bulge, bolt of lightning on his chest, and it was glowing and everything. And remember, we don't know this is pre-CGI rendering, right? This isn't marketing material. This is not what the poster is going to look like. This is them filming. You can see the wires coming off them and everything. So I'm sure there'll be some tweaking in how it looks, how it glows, how it affects the CGI, whatnot. But yeah, in the comic books, when the first suit came out for the first one, I was like, wow, the lightning bolt's huge, actually. Because in the comic books it was a little smaller. But it looked good. It worked. The other thing, I was watching behind the scenes on Falcon and Winter Soldier, and it's so cool. So at the end, when spoiler alerts for those that haven't seen it, when Falcon becomes Captain America, he's got the white suit, the thing. The mask that goes around his head, it fits like latex. It never leaves his skin, and that was all digital editing. So they had a mask on him, but it was a very much like a lycra or whatever it is, breathability and mobility, but like a normal piece of clothing would. Every time he would talk or turn, it would bulge and like kind of pop off the skin. So they literally said, well, this is a superhero suit made by the Wakandans. This has got to be perfect. And so they literally mapped out and completely edited any instance where the suit like left his skin or anything. So I just thought, like, what a crazy, like, imagine your job is like, I have to sit there and shot by shot, hide the bulge, hide the anywhere that it doesn't look perfect, and fix
the bulge
it.
of the head, of course, right?
Yes, the bulge, the bulge near the head. So it's it was just so crazy to me, because they showed like the previs versus what it looked like afterwards, and it's like, yeah, if you were wearing a face mask, it moves around when you talk and things like that, but they had to make it look perfect. Like it was part of it. It was a skin, a second skin. So I think that's right, man. And Mike wants to know, is he working out or is it still a muscle suit? I think it's 50-50. And let's be honest, Zachary Levi, he's not a bulky dude. So
No, he's not.
I want to say part, part muscle.
Well, I mean, some of them have to for the for some of the dynamics of the stunts, and some they have to be in somewhat decent shape. I mean, you can't have I don't know, you can't have a dad bod in a fucking suit like that. You know what I mean? You can't, ugh, looks like you've already chugged a 6-pack and ate a couple burgers, and then you decided to get in that suit. You know what I mean? You just feel like you can't really fit. Leonard Skinner says that bat nipples on the Clooney Kilmer costumes were weird. Was weird. Yet the Batgirl didn't have them.
I mean, that's sexism at its finest. Why did Batman have nipples but Batgirl didn't?
Well, I mean, the suit had boobs, so it was kind of like obvious. You knew there were boobs.
But I mean, come on, equality, man. Batman's not for equality. I mean, the Batsuit had pecs. Why did it need nipples?
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
You knew they were pecs.
Yep.
Good point. True. Good point. What else we got? Let's see. Oh, here's actually we're gonna switch over. We're gonna be firing through these quickly. TV news. TV news. Sorry. I'm gonna have you do voiceover for my work now. All right. This one's kind of a bummer. Guys. Not gonna lie. Just released not too long ago was Jupiter's Legacy on Netflix. While it didn't blow me away, I thought it was a good enough show. And you know what? First seasons are always tough. Kind of have to find your footing. I felt like, hey, season 2, we're gonna get into it. It's gonna get good. I hate to tell you if you watched the show or didn't watch the show, but they canceled season 2. They have officially pulled the plug on Jupiter's Legacy. It will be no more. So if you did watch it, you know it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying there's a couple of series that were freaking Netflix. Like I think would have been hits had the audience, or actually had I don't know, they just continued it and let it grow. Because I think what's happening is that because of the pandemic drama and people are now binge watching a lot of stuff, I think everyone's really worried about word of mouth or any critical critical drama. It's like say, hey, I don't like these comments, or I don't like the way the show's doing, so I'm gonna go ahead and cancel that. Because like you said, it was literally just started.
Yeah.
And now it's done. Just like Space Force too. Space Force for Netflix. It's only, they're propping it up, getting ready to go, and yeah, here we go, yeah. And then the season comes out, and everyone thinks it's funny as hell because if you're in the military, you can totally relate, but everyone's like, nah, it's gonna suck, and nothing. You didn't hear. So the same thing with Jupiter's Legacy as well. It's just like, hey, you gotta kind of have to, I don't know, explain some shit.
Yeah, and it's funny too because I do feel like had this come out start of the pandemic or 3 months in or 4 months into COVID, I think it's a hit. I think people are so desperate for something to watch, much like Tiger King. I think it's an overnight sensation, and people are clamoring for another season. Again, well, I don't think it was great by any means. It was okay. I feel like it had a lot of runway to go and a lot of places to go with it, and I was interested to see where they were going to go with it. And I see Leonard Skinner's comment in the yeah, compared to Invincible, it was trash. You're right, because Invincible was awesome. I really did. If you haven't seen anything, Ice, you got to watch Invincible, man. It is so good on Amazon Prime Video. It's so good, so good. I can't wait for that show. They already greenlit seasons 2 and 3 for that one. But yeah, so the interesting thing with this show, and then the reason I wanted to bring it up is because, yes, they've scrapped the plans. Yes, they basically released everyone from contract. So it's over. It ain't coming back. You can, bring it back all you want. They've already broke everyone's contract. They're released and allowed to go anywhere. Which, funny thing, Josh Duhamel, who's the main character, immediately posted a shirtless pic of himself, and he's like, hey Hulu, what's up? Let's do this. Which I love. Which I love that. That's outstanding. That's what you want to do. But the reason I found it interesting is they are going to pivot. The showrunners and the people behind the show are actually pivoting from within this universe. They're actually not getting rid of the universe. They're just not doing this story anymore. There's another chapter called Super Crooks, where it focused only on the villains and kind of their stories, and that's what they're shifting to. They're going to do an all villains version basically of this show. And while they did say, well, down the line, who knows, maybe these characters pop in or whatnot, but they've already released them from contracts, so it's basically saying, yeah, they're done.
Well, Josh Duhamel has experience with the production company, because these are the same guys that did D. Bonaventura Pictures. The same for Transformers,
Mm-hmm.
and he's their favorite. He's been in like every Transformers movie.
Yep.
Just about, and so the same production companies. And so I have a feeling he's going to be around for those types of shows anyways. You know what I mean? He's going to be coming back.
He's not going to be wanting for work. That's for sure.
Right. Exactly. But it did have there were some people in there that I never. I mean, like Grace, I didn't know who the hell that was.
Mm-hmm.
Chloe, I don't know, or George, I don't know who the hell. I didn't. These are some actors that I'm like, I like new talent. I like seeing new talent when it comes to some of the acting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You want to give those people a chance, because that's the problem when you hire someone who's a name. They know their worth, so they're gonna get their money's worth in the first season. But then there's nowhere to go. Like, they're gonna be like, all right, well, we were a hit. Season 2, I want double. Season 3, I want triple. Whereas, which it's not great for the production of the show, because there has to be concessions made somewhere else. God forbid the writing or whatever. Perfect example. I mean, this perfectly leads into it. This is let's say a 22 episode season of The Flash, right? Flash TV show, 22 episodes. The total of that cost the studio about $75 million to produce that season, 22 episodes. For this show, the first season, the cheapest season, and it was only 8 episodes, cost $200 million. The whole show. So they got 8 episodes in the first season for $200 million.
Yeah, that's like bringing in the big dogs, though, when you think about it, though. You know what I mean? So it's just like
It's costly.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, now Super Crooks. Well, that's the. I don't know. What do you think of that? Do you think it's going to be?
Maybe they take some lessons learned from this show, and it turns out to be a great thing. But I mean, if you don't have, I don't know, man. This is where like Suicide Squad and certain shit movies and things didn't do it for me, because if you don't have a really compelling hero to contrast a compelling villain, if you have all heroes or all villains, there's a balance that's off. You know what I mean? Right. As much as we love Star Wars, if you had a movie only about Jedi and just the shit they're doing, or only about Sith and what they're doing, like, it's not going to be as compelling a story. We want to see those two clash. So
and that's why The Mandalorian. That's why all the other films that are coming are offshoots from Star Wars is because people are going, finally, we don't have to hear about this intergalactic family drama that's going on between
damn Skywalkers. Ruin everything.
We just call it Tiger King. Just call it Bantha King, or call it whatever whatever creature you want to use for an example of. Because that's what it was like. It was just one giant. When you think about it, it was one giant family drama that had. I mean, I don't get you guys know me how much I love Star Wars. Just a huge family drama. Everyone talked about everything. If there was not one thing that had to come up, was because of the Jedi. It was because of this and this and this. So I was like. When The Mandalorian came out, that's why it was so successful, because it was just refreshing to get something new out of Star Wars. You know what I mean?
Did you get a little, like, because I know everybody was super excited when like the Luke Skywalker cameo at the end of season 2. Spoilers alert. But
no,
because my thing is, like, as cool as it is to see, it is like, oh God. No, not the Skywalkers.
It's like, dude, we just left your ass. Get that. I mean, don't get me wrong. I do talk to we do talk to Mark Hamill on Twitter. And
who's awesome.
Who's awesome, great guy. But I think it was kind of like, bro. I mean, kind of cool, man. We cool, but
the curse of the Skywalker.
I didn't want that to be. I wanted like Darth Maul or some shit to come in, or something. I wanted to see something different. You know what I mean? It was just like, because already Moff Gideon and Din Djarin were freaking fighting, and the Darksaber. And if you don't know any of the Mandalorian lore and all that, now he's the keeper of the Darksaber, which means that according to Mandalore legend and Mandalore law, or whatever you want to call it, he's now the new leader of Mandalore.
Mm-hmm.
And it's supposed to be Bo-Katan, and now she's all pissed off. Starbuck, for you guys don't know, from the other Battlestar Galactica series. And so yeah, it was just kind of like, that's what I'm talking about. This is some good shit. It's compelling. It's a different story. You throw some brutality. You even got you got Bill Burr as a comedian, stand-up comedian,
Mm-hmm.
who pulled off that role
amazingly.
I mean, it was a phenomenal job the way he did it. Seemed like he was, I don't know. It just, again, because like you were saying, it didn't seem like it was a bunch of hero worship to the, or callbacks to the old series. It was just seeing something go forward, and it just seemed like all the other series of the movies, to include the Clone War movie, the cartoons, for a while, they just keep regurgitating the lines. Like, it was not one time you could watch anything Star Wars where someone say, "I have a bad feeling about this," and you're like, they even made fun of it in Rogue One.
Yeah.
Where the robot K2SO was like, "I have a bad," and then freaking the two actors, Andor Cassian and Jin, said, "Shh, shut up, don't even finish that.
Don't even say it.
Don't even say it," because it was just like, dude, stop. So Mandalorian, Rogue One, I think is the best Star Wars film ever. Yeah, I would say in between, just below that is The Empire Strikes Back. For nostalgia's purpose, of course, the original Star Wars, but back in 1977 Star Wars, back when it was a couple hours long and all the glitches were in there and it wasn't redone and it wasn't Lucasified and all that. So
yeah,
they're talking about doing it again. I'm like, no, stop, just
no more, no mas. No mas.
And now they're talking about rebooting and redoing the other prequels, and I'm like, oh my god, just let shit go, just let it happen, just have new stories come out. Yep. Well, the same thing with Super Crooks, man. I mean, I hope that it leads to a better, but like you were saying, without the foundation of the other series, to kind of get more in depth the characters, which it's again, that's why the Mandalorian was so successful. A, it was new, and B, it was more in depth of character development.
Yeah, exactly. And you got time to breathe with characters. Corey says, comedy is harder to do than serious drama, something I learned in my studies. Oh, good for you. No, yeah, I as a guy who's done comedy, stand-up comedy anyway, I think comedy is harder to do. Like, serious drama, you can always go deep and dark. But comedy is one of those things where, since comedy is so subjective, right? Like if I cry, I'm sad. That comes across as sad. But with comedy, you tell a joke or you try to hit that mark and the time, and it doesn't work. It doesn't work. We've all seen those comedy movies where you're like, man, I didn't laugh once. It just didn't work. The same thing, those guys that can just hit it every time. So I do think, in talking to a lot of actors, comedy is more fun to do. It's a more freeing experience. It's a more lighthearted experience. But like you said, Corey, I do think it's harder to nail it just right. You need the good writing, you need the good acting, the good directing to really send it home, so to speak. But yeah, so that was that. A couple other just quick ones is for those that like there's the DC shows. So like Doom Patrol just finished wrapping up its season 3. Again, that's one of those shows where, I mean, I recommend it if you like those kind of weird off-the-wall shows. If you like Umbrella Academy or Lock and Key or, shows like that where they're just a little zany, a little crazy, definitely check out Doom Patrol. It'll be right up your alley. If you want something serious or not so serious, or no, it is not so serious. If you want something serious, there's other places to go. If you want something a little more loving and touching, there's other places to go. And in that vein of shows, Titans, the series, season 3 is still shooting, but should be wrapping soon as well. So for those DC fans, you'll have a little bit of Doom Patrol coming your way soon, and then shortly after that, Titans season 3, which looks to be interesting to say the least. It's a little melodrama for my taste. It's a lot of like, I want my superheroes to be about fighting and stopping
Right.
bad guys, and this is just a little bit like infighting and arguing
Well,
and
my middle daughter likes Titan because she's a big Teen Titans fan on
right.
Cartoon Network, and so she's trying to get used to it. Like she's trying to I don't know, it's comparison. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
don't
it's
compare Teen Titans Go to this. It's a little bit different than that.
it's a
So
little different.
yeah, so she's like, nah, this blows. Can I watch something else? So she's kind of like, just give it a chance. Might try to get her into it too, but
Yeah.
she's
Yeah, and there was like the first episode where Robin's like, "Fuck Batman." I was like, "Whoa, this
yeah,
ain't your
yeah,
mama's Teen Titans."
yeah,
Woo!
that's exactly what she's like. She's like, oh my god.
You can't say that, Robin. How dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
That's good stuff.
Probably punk.
All right, let's see what else we got. We're moving right along. The comic book category, but I also use it for toys, which, y'all know me in the background. I love my collectibles. Well, boy, howdy, do I have a collectible for you. Folks at home, how would you like something like this? This right here is a life-sized Iron Mark III collectible statue. If you go to Disneyland's Avengers campus, which is opening soon, they will be selling these at the stores. Which is an 82-inch tall statue for $8,000 plus
Bro,
tax.
can you take the pieces off and wear the pieces? I mean, because if you're spending that much money on that, I want to be able to wear that shit too. You know what I mean? That's kind of like,
Yeah.
for the fan who has it all. No, I want to wear it. I don't want to. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the fan that wears it, that has it all. I want to wear that shit, flying around like Tony Stark and shit. I'm just kind of like.
No, it's true. And here's the thing. Here's the thing too. Like, I always it's funny, we're gonna go on vacation. I tell my wife, oh, make sure you, leave a little bit of space in the suitcase because you always pick up some souvenirs. Who the hell is buying this while they're on vacation? Who is like, you know what?
Yeah, and that's another thing too. You're flying to. Yeah, you're right. You're right. That's a good point. Excuse me, can I check this in? I'm sorry, the guy's got to wear a mask. No, he's a statue.
Yeah.
You freaking, yeah, you're right.
Unless
Go
it's the suit where like it breaks down into like the suitcase. You'd be like, oh, I'm gonna be checking in my armor suitcase here. But no, like it's crazy.
Like that's crack prices. I thought crack was supposed to be cheap.
That's yeah. Crack should be cheap. And
Be cheap,
Kaz, you heard it. I got evidence. Kaz says when he hits it big in crypto, he's buying me one. That's
right
that is somebody notarize that. I want that
recorded.
It's recorded.
By all.
I've got witnesses. Kaz. You're on the hook now. And the best part though, I really like this, is what it says. Actually, it's probably too small for you to read, but I have it here. It says, life-size Iron Mark III collectible statue. Please see cast member for assistance. No discounts apply. This item may not be exchanged or returned. Special shipping rates apply, and this item is excluded from any shipping promotions. Shipping is not available internationally or to Alaska, Hawaii, PO boxes, blah, 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 blah. Please allow 120 days for delivery. See, and then it was in super small. I don't think the picture has it, but it was like basically like, don't try to pick this up. Which, I mean, who's like, it's like going to Costco or Sam's Club and you're like, I'm going to pick up this pallet of whatever and take it to checkout.
Technically, when you think about it, even in the Avengers universe, it's you can wear it. I mean, you can't lift it. It's supposed to be heavy. It's not supposed to be light.
Right. That's the thing. It's powered by the arc reactor. You can't just pick this thing up unless you're Hulk. But no, yeah. So people in the chat, Christopher says, even if I had 8,000, I doubt I'd buy it. Yeah, I'm a fan, but not that much. I agree with you, man. Don't get me wrong. Would I love that to be in the background right now? Hell yes. Would I pay anywhere even close to $8,000?
No.
Not in a million years.
No.
It's so funny because I'm always checking out the marketplace and things like that on Facebook and different little things. You never know. You find little rare gems for a good price. There's a guy who's a cosplayer, like would go to children's hospitals, and he wore a Batman outfit. And I mean, like, but made professionally. So it looks just like Ben Affleck's Batman. It looks like it just jumped off the movie screen. It is so perfect. Maybe like the boots are a little off, but other than that, like the cowl, the cape, the vest, the all the equipment, the pieces, and I was trying to convince my wife to let me buy it. I mean, it wouldn't even fit me, but I was like, man, I'll buy a mannequin and just put that shit in the background. I'm gonna that'd be a tax write-off for the show.
I have all my Star Wars kit secured in tough boxes because I can't stack them up on a mannequin. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, exactly. No, that even that was like $400, right? Because he was like, it was all custom made work and leather companies and all this and all that. And my wife was like, no, you're not buying a Batman suit for $400. And I'm like, so I can't imagine what it'd be. Babe, can I have an Iron Man statue for $8,000?
Yeah, exactly.
It's for the show. I need it for the show.
You kind of need it. I mean, it's a good prop. I mean, come on.
That's not. I mean, if I had that in the background, come on, that would be. I'm just saying. But there's some really incredible things that people are doing. I was like on TikTok or whatever, and there's guys that make like modular, like the Iron Man helmet that like opens and closes on them and everything and lights up and all the stuff. That's that was I wish I had that kind of skill. I wish I had that kind of like I'm just gonna build myself an Iron Man suit. Whatever. Who cares? Whatnot. So there you go, guys, with man, if only. So if you're ever going to Disneyland in California and going to the Avengers campus, which I hope to do one day, because
And I just, and if you just feel it deep down in your heart to go ahead and get him one,
I mean, hey, we can start a collection, guys. If anybody wants to start a GoFundMe, so that I can get a life-size Iron Mark III, I'll let everyone play for it. If you contribute, you can play with it. You can come over, you can take pictures.
We'll do GoFundMe's for worse shit.
This is what we're gonna do when we start doing WTF on tour, right? And we go in city to city. I'll bring the suit with me. You take pictures with it. It'll be a whole thing.
I can't wait to do that shit. Cannot wait to start that shit back up, man. God,
it's gonna happen.
2020 just don't even go with 2020 yet. Anyway, so continue on. I'm sorry, I don't want to get all flushed.
Getting on the rant. All right. Got some gaming news. So we are days away from this year's E3 conference. And for those that don't know what E3 is, 3 E's, Electronic Entertainment Expo. It is where all the greats in entertainment and electronics come together to showcase their stuff. Very big for video games, very big for electronics. Hang on a second, we're getting a call here. I'm gonna answer this one because that can't be who I think it is. Hello, who's this? Hello, I hear a lot of background noise.
Sorry, hold on. Do you want me to do video? Do you want me to do a video call?
Is this Scott?
No, it's Eddie.
Eddie. Oh, okay. Wow. You threw me a curveball, bud. We're expecting a call in about 15 minutes. How you doing, man?
Sorry, I'm late. I'm very, very important.
How are you doing, man? It's been a minute since we've talked.
I know. Things are going okay. Did Wayne tell you that I was going to call?
I did not get a call from Wayne.
Oh wait, hold on.
I think you're calling the wrong show, bud.
You're calling the wrong show, man.
CQ.
See, it's right. It is CQ.
Hey man, I was looking. I was going, oh man, dude, you've changed.
God bless you, man. Ladies and gentlemen, from Warehouse 13, Eddie McClintock. How you doing, bud?
Eddie McClintock, photobombing us and shit, man. What's up?
Sorry. All right, hey, go. Hey, Have me on again. God.
Absolutely, brother. Absolutely, man. Good to hear from you, man.
Good to hear from you, man.
And you're coming to California soon, right?
That's right, man. Hey, maybe a week or two. I'll hit you up, man. We'll grab lunch.
Look me up. Look me up.
All right, brother. You got a commitment, man. You go run. Run to your commitment.
Tell Ken I said hey.
Oh,
Baby.
he hears
Love
you.
you, man.
I see you. Thank you.
See you, bud. These things happen. These things happen, man.
We've never been celebrity bombed. That was classic, man.
When the name came up, I was like, wait, what?
I saw the name. I was like, who the hell's? Wait a minute, that can't be.
That can't be the Eddie I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I was about to say that's not.
Oh,
I was like,
man.
wait a minute, that's awesome, man.
Shit, I'm gonna have to change the headline to
Yeah, I'm gonna have to change it to
with special guest Eddie McClintock jumping in to say hey. Oh man, like Wayne.
Well,
all right, thanks Wayne.
Like I don't want to be mean to Wayne, but who the hell is he?
Thanks Wayne, wherever you are, buddy. They hooked us up with a special. All right, I've lost where I was. I see Eddie McClintock's calling. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna answer this.
We were talking about E3.
Yes, E3. Sorry, E3. Which we got about 10 more minutes, guys. Hang in there. I'm gonna make it. So E3 starts this year, June 12th to June 15th. It's basically where we're gonna get inundated with just a ton of gameplay trailers and pictures and video and announcements and showcases and tech and everything. It's one of my favorite. It's Christmas for me because I love video games. I love technology. It's literally Christmas for me. So days before that, I preface this with tomorrow. Not only are we getting Loki tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Pacific, which is what, 8, 9, 10 Eastern, Battlefield 6 will officially be revealed to the world, to the masses. I'm super pumped for Battlefield 6.
This one too. They said they'll be able to get all the bugs out, all the other. I mean, this is like the most improved play of Battlefield yet, and I'm fucking excited for it, man.
The bar is low on that one, but I love the Battlefield series. I love it.
We're talking about the game or me getting excited?
A little column A, column B. But yeah, no, and from the leaks and the teases, it looks to be not past, not super future. It's somewhere in that present to slightly a couple years more advanced than we are now kind of timeline. So you're gonna get a lot of the current age stuff, but with just a little tiny futurist kind of twist to it. Lots of drones and things like that. So I'm excited for it, man. I think Battlefield is a great series. It's good for Call of Duty to have a little competition. I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they bring out and how we can play it. If it's gonna be, because you never know. Is it gonna be single player only? Is it gonna be multiplayer only? I mean, you never know what these things are gonna be. Are they gonna do a battle royale kind of like Warzone is for Call of Duty? Is it gonna be free? I mean, who knows? We're gonna find all about that tomorrow morning, which I'll probably share when it goes live, and we'll talk about it when I get back. But yeah, whatever. You guys don't care. For those,
don't be a dick.
I'm just gonna be a dick to the audience tonight. Suck it. For those that are fans of the Microsoft Flight Simulator, which has been out for a little while now, it is a massive game. For those that don't know, this thing is like a 200 gigabyte game. It uses Earth map satellites, so you could literally fly anywhere in the world, and it is a pretty close to realistic simulator in that, like, you can land at any major airport, you can fly over any real city, and it's crazy. Now, obviously 200 gigabytes is a huge download, whether you're on console or PC. But the latest update that just came out, 1.16.2.0, for those keeping track at home, is got a bunch of bug fixes and little things. But the biggest, coolest thing that it does is it cuts the game size from 170 some odd gigabytes down to 83. So that is a massive. They damn near cut the game in half. More than cut the game in half. So for those that were like, man, I'd love to play it, but it takes up too much of our game. There you go. Down to 83 gigs. Definitely worth a playthrough. It is gorgeous. It is fun. If you like more sim like realistic, it can do that. If you want a more little arcadey, do barrel rolls and loop-de-loops above, the Pentagon, you can do that.
Exactly.
Whatever you want. Let's see. Kingsbury on YouTube says, honest opinion, I think Battlefield 6 won't do as well like Battlefield 5. Okay. Their Battlefield 5 wasn't as well received. I was a fan of Battlefield Hardline, man. Not a lot of people like that one. I thought it was.
I like Hardline. Hardline was pretty good.
I thought it was a nice spin on something different. They were trying something different, and it was cops and robbers. How can you? It hasn't been a good cops and robbers game in a while.
Do you think that game? Do you think that game would be released now?
Which one?
Battlefield Hardline. Like if Battlefield Hardline were to come out now, do you think people would be like, be clutching their pearls? Because it came out in 2015. So
right. Yeah, it's been a minute. I mean, dude, no BS. I was literally just playing it with a couple friends. We were like, you know what? We haven't played Hardline and we had these fond memories. It's still active. You can actually still get on. I mean, there's not a lot of servers, so it's like 2 servers up, but we played a few games. And it was just as fun as I remember, man. Hijacking cars and blowing stuff up, robbing banks. It was fun. I thoroughly enjoyed it. All right, a couple more minutes. I want to get to a few more things before we take our break. This one I'm super excited for. Everybody, Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland.
Oh, man. Can't wait,
yeah.
Man.
Oh, yeah. Now, they just announced this, and not only is it coming, it is going to be a free-to-play game set in the Division universe. So, free-to-play. Now, immediately, when I hear free-to-play, I'm thinking, Apex Legends and Fortnite and Warzone. So, is it going to be in that vein? Who's to say? What I have here, it's being developed by the original Tom Clancy studio, which is Red Storm Entertainment. It'll be a standalone from the main Division series, planned for release on PlayStation, Xbox, PC, somewhere in the 21-22 window. No details yet. It's unclear what kind of game it's actually going to be, besides that it's free to play. They did say it's going to be an all new perspective on the universe in a new setting. So take that for what it will.
But didn't they just release the new pack?
Yeah.
The Division 2 had a new DLC come out, and there was confusion between it being the same as you have to finish this one DLC pack to play Heartland, and now it's saying that's not.
No, so, yeah, it's a standalone thing. Division's been pushing out a lot of material lately. So there's a Division Netflix movie being made with Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal.
God, I can't wait for that.
There is, yeah, that's gonna be awesome. Which we're gonna try to get one of them on the show, man. There'll be an original novel set after the events of Division 2. There's also the patch that we talked about that came out for Division. Yep. There's also more content coming to Division 2. There's a DLC and a new game mode called New Methods coming up later. And there's also a mobile game for the Division coming out as well. So ton of stuff for the Division. If you're a Division fan, ton of stuff. And last thing I'll mention, since we're running short on time.
Yeah, it's the new patch, Warlords of New York.
Yes. That was a good one. There was a leak, and I think they're gonna. This is one of those things they're gonna surprise announce at E3. Now that the ghost is out of the bag, the cat's out of the bag. There were deleted images recently from a leak online on Twitter of a game being made by Ubisoft, currently titled Battle Cat. It's got to be a temporary title because it doesn't make any sense. But it's basically an objective-based PvP game where it brings the world of The Division, Splinter Cell, and Ghost Recon Breakpoint all together. You basically have these three different factions that have been leaked so far. You have the Echelon members, you have the Wolves from Breakout, Breakpoint, and then you have the, what do they call them, the collectors or the whatever cleaners of
cleaners.
Yeah, the cleaners of Division. So, and the only two things that they kind of leaked was that there's gonna be like an escort game mode and a collecting something game mode. It's very limited details. But it's going to be interesting because is this going to be like a top-down strategy game? Is it going to be like is this a battle royale kind of game? But it's just I'm just sharing with you what got leaked, what's out there, and what's happening. So we'll see. I'm curious to see and hope to hear more at E3 about these games and more. We're out of time for hour one. Mr. Ice, I want to thank you for joining us.
Yeah, dude, this is fun.
This has been a lot of fun, man. I know you're a busy guy, so I want to thank you for coming on and hanging out with us and chit-chatting with us, man. I really appreciate it. The people appreciate it, man. You're awesome.
Enjoy the interview, and I'm looking forward. I'll be listening to So guys, thank you.
Of course,
for
man.
hanging out.
Yeah, guys. So we're gonna be back in a few minutes with our man Scott Mann. Scott Mann. And we'll see. Maybe Eddie McClintock might phone bomb us again. I don't know. Anything can happen when you're live. Absolutely anything can happen. This has been fun. Stay tuned. We'll have Scott Mann from Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret coming up after the break. We'll see you in a minute. Shots.
Shots.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
You got me staring out the window. 8 hours later, you're a no-show.
The voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, we are back. This is hour 2 of Pop Culture Warrior. I am, of course, CQ, and I am so excited for this interview. It's something I've been waiting for a while, and especially after last week getting to sit down and watch Last Out, Elegy of a Green Beret. It was something that was super powerful and has stayed with me. It's been a week since I watched it, and it stayed with me. So I'm very excited to speak with our next guest. I'm not going to give him a big, long intro because I just want to get right into it. So, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my guest tonight, Scott Mann. Thanks for being on the show, man.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good. I usually have like, I'm gonna ask this question, but I'm spinning because there's so much to break down. First and foremost, can you give the audience just kind of a quick rundown? Obviously, you're a military veteran, Green Beret. I want you can sell it the best to the audience. Let them know who you are and what you did when you served.
Yeah, Scott Mann. I spent about 23 years in the U.S. Army, just under that. 18 of that as a Green Beret, most of that in 7th Special Forces Group. I spent the first half of my career as a Green Beret working Central and South America pre 9/11. And then after 9/11, like so many of the people on this call, spent it in Southwest Asia. And our joke was either you're in Afghanistan or you're getting ready to go back. Like that's your life. And so that was what I did. I retired in 2013 and had a pretty crappy transition. Wasn't a great transition at all, and but did land in the world of storytelling, if you can believe that. I've always kind of loved that as a kid of Appalachia, and I started writing stories about the war, and one of them got read at a community theater, and it turned into this play, which then turned into a film. So, and I guess the last thing I'd say is I wanted to be a Green Beret. I grew up in a little logging town in Arkansas. Wanted to do it ever since I was a kid. It was just something I'd always wanted to do, and got to do it as an adult and run around with some of the finest NCOs on the planet, and it was a great ride.
Yeah, fantastic. And I want to talk all about Last Out, but I really want to delve into you as a person. I always, we have actors, we have directors, and like, hey man, I want to obviously I want to talk about your project, but I want to get to know you. I want to understand you and how we got to this point so you could do this thing. So you said, you grew up in, was it Arkansas and Arkansas, depending on where you live in the country. But so you're saying from a kid, like how young were you when you say like, I remember I wanted to be a Green Beret. I wanted to do this thing.
So I was 14 and I lived in a little 1-horse town, called Mount Ida, Arkansas, beautiful little town. And this Green Beret walked into our soda shop and he was on leave. And as soon as I saw the dude, I knew that's what I wanted to do. And I had no clue what he was, what he did, except just the way he carried himself. He sat down with me, started talking to me about special forces and how they work by, with, and through other cultures and work with indigenous people. And I don't know, I just fell in love with that idea, and it never, ever changed for me. Like that's what I wanted to do. And I just obsessed over it until I was able to try out in 95 and never looked back.
Wow. So, you basically, you came in, when I'm just curious when you signed that contract, right? Cause I know like going through the maps and do the ASVAB and all that stuff. What was your initial like MOS when you signed up? Was it straight to go into selection or did you start somewhere else?
Love this. So the boys and girls can just have a field day with me in the chat room here. So I was an officer. I went through ROTC. And I wanted to be an SF team leader. Like that was my dream. Ended up going quartermaster right out of the gate. So I worked logistics my first 4 years. Went to Ranger School as a second lieutenant quartermaster. They had a friggin' field day with my ass. But I spent my first tour in Panama and didn't really want to do the quartermaster route, to be honest with you. I got branched into it, but I had a really good sergeant major who told me, look, just stay with it. You'll get to try out no matter what. And that's what I did. So I learned a lot about logistics, learned a lot about that world, and glad I did it, to be honest with you, because once I got in SF, I kept my guys out of trouble, at least on the property management side. I won't say I kept them out of trouble, but
That was good.
so it was once I tried out in '95, yeah, it was straight seventh group all the way, Central South America, doing a lot of the counter drug stuff in the '90s.
Wow,
Kind of,
that's amazing. And can you talk a little bit about, because you hear the stories, you maybe see the documentaries if you're so inclined, like I am. You see the movies. What was it like really going through the selection process, the training, and like making that transition to like, oh, this is me, this is who I am now?
Yeah, I would just say, anybody that served in the military, the deal. You have your own journey, right? You have those moments where you were up against the wall, you didn't know if you were going to make it. Why the hell did I sign on for this? All those moments, whether you're jumping out of a perfectly good airplane or whatever it is. For me, I was so adamant about. I had done so much research, CQ, at that point. Like, I'm not kidding you. I obsessed over it. So I really understood the mission of unconventional warfare. I understood that Green Berets are different in the sense that they're not primarily door kickers. They work by, with, and through indigenous populations, and I was really dialed into that. So the selection was super, super challenging, but for me, it represented to me that final opportunity to pursue what I dreamed about my entire childhood. So I kind of came at it a little differently, and I recycled every damn school in the Army twice. Like, I sucked. I don't think I've ever passed a school the first time, to be honest. In Ranger School, I spent so much time in Ranger School, they might as well have PCS'd me there. But eventually I made it, and so I can't claim any like, I was probably bottom of my class in every school I went to, but I made it. And then once I got on a team and was in that environment, it was just the best experience ever. Like, it was even more than I thought it would be as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, I knew so many guys. Obviously, when I joined right after 9/11, and so it was just deployment after deployment. There wasn't a lot of time for schools; it was just deployment.
Yeah.
But I knew so many guys who, I got that. We're in between deployments. I got that quick, that rip. I got the Ranger School, whatever. And they go, and a couple weeks they come back, man, it's stupid. I don't want to do that anyway. Like, they're so dejected after the first time that they're like, man, nah, that's not for me. Like. So it's such a cool to hear you say that, like, no, yeah, maybe, you recycled, whatever, but that, like, I knew this is what I wanted to do. And there was nothing, even if I had to do it 100 times, right? There was nothing, if I had the chance to still do it, I was going to do it.
Exactly. And, I was growing up, man, I was such a runt. I mean, I was so small. Pretty much anything I tried, I ended up falling short, like, particularly in sports, athletics. I was such a small kid. And so I think literally it was my obsession with making it into SF and pursuing that as my life, that it was more about the persistence of hanging on and not quitting, which I know so many of your viewers know so well. And honestly, man, I'll be straight with you. I learned more sitting in the gulag in the 4th Ranger Training Battalion, waiting for the next class to start, or pulling weeds out of the worm pit when my peers were graduating next, 100 yards away. Like, I learned more about myself. I learned more about leading in combat and like kind of digging in when things get really crappy in the recycles than I did actually in the schools. Now, that's probably not the recommended course of action, but that was my path, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Yeah, I mean, you hear it all the time from the greats in sports and all the time. They say, you learn more from your failures than you do from your successes. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and all these things. But it's true. It's true that you can have that passion to do something and know that, whatever you want to call it, I'm destined to do this thing. It just maybe takes me a little longer than everybody else to get there.
Well, yeah. And there was that. And I think it was that I wasn't ready. Like, I wasn't mentally where I needed to be. I didn't deserve it. I mean, if I'm being candid, like, I wasn't ready. I didn't deserve that black and gold tab. I didn't deserve an SF tab or a Green Beret. I wasn't ready. And that was the hardest part for me. It was less about the failures and more about, like, even with all the training that I had done, I still wasn't ready. I wasn't where I needed to be. And it was really my dad, I think, that probably back when we had payphones, I would call him on the payphone, just like, I wanted to come home. I wanted to quit. He'd be like, nope, you stay your ass there, and you get what you went for, and
awesome.
It was that process of just self-recognition that, like, okay, I'm not there yet, and I've got work to do, and I've got to do it, and just reconciling that with myself and overcoming that resistance. That, when I look back on it, if I'm answering your question about selection and all that, that was really what I took away. I can't remember almost anything technically, but I can remember just the process I had to go through to stay in it.
Yeah. No, that makes total sense. Absolutely. I can't pick a day out of basic training or anything like that I went through, but I know the feeling, right? I know the feeling standing on the parade field, getting pinned, and I know those,
Yeah.
that stays with you. So it makes total sense. Switching gears. So during your service, obviously you're not aging anybody, but you're pre 9/11, as much as post 9/11. How did you? You're a member of the SF community. You guys are busier than anyone pre 9/11, because everybody else is just sitting back flipping hot dogs. How did you see the shift of how the soft community is utilized, and what they're doing, pre to post 9/11?
That's a great question. I watched, so I kind of had my career literally split in half by 9/11. And looking back on that, particularly now that my son is in the infantry, I think on that, and I think, man, that was actually very profound, because it was literally two different worlds. When I was in 7th Special Forces Group, like I said, we primarily focused on the Andean Ridge in the 90s. It was a pretty sporty time, a lot of work in Colombia, Peru, Ecuador, places where there was a lot of conflict. And we were gone a lot. We were down there. It was almost exclusively CQ, working by, with, and through host nation forces, to deal with either the FARC guerrillas and you got to get out some, but it wasn't like after 9/11 where you were out all the time. So that was probably the biggest lesson I learned that I tried to take into Afghanistan. Was I had a good amount of experience working with other cultures, other armies, and where you didn't have a lot of authority and you didn't have a lot of control over them, and you had to really focus on relationships and leveraging those relationships with partner nations. I was very grateful for that, and all the frustrations that came with working with Afghan soldiers and Afghan police on the other side of it.
Yeah, and it's something that is touched on during the play, during the movie. That how do we interact with these people? And I'm curious, because I look at my tenure, my experience, and I was 18 years old, 19 years old, straight out of basic airborne infantry, immediately thrust into Iraq, and I was a kid from New York City, so 9/11 really felt personal to me, right? They attacked my city, and I know, again, touching on the play, and 9/11 has a personal impact for you too. You lost a friend, so I'm curious, that first post 9/11 deployment, that first time you're gonna go get some, I mean, where were you kind of emotionally? How do you kind of rein that in of, like, I've got to work with these people? I mean, like, were you able to hold it together?
Yeah, I don't think I did a good job of reining it in. I say this in my book, Game Changers, that I wrote about the war and the village work that we did. I said that Al Qaeda killed my Ranger buddy Cliff on 9/11 in the Pentagon, and that's represented in the film. And like you, I felt it was very personal, right? So the attack was very personal. They killed one of my best friends in the world, and I was focused on payback. And so what's really unfortunate is that all of that work that I had developed for a decade as a Green Beret, working by, with, and through indigenous cultures, building relationships, and learning how to affect things indirectly, I kind of sat that aside and got really myopically focused on putting scalps on the barn. And it wasn't until 2004 that I rolled in. In fact, you and I we walked a lot of the same ground at the same time, you were probably in Zabul province. I'm not sure, maybe, but you were in, a lot of the same areas I was. And I was completely focused on attrition and payback. I mean, I'm just going to be straight. Like, I did the by, with, and through thing, but it was to get on the enemy. And I didn't spend as much time thinking about, all right, how are we building capacity in this country? And how do we work ourselves out of a job, which is what SF do well. And so it was, dude, I'm not going to lie. Like, it was probably 2009 before I started to look around and go, something's not right here. And there were more Taliban in the rural areas than when we started. And that was a clue for me that, wow. And I had to make some serious internal changes at the time that we started the Village program. So it was a while, man. It was several tours of attrition and payback.
Yeah. And how, I mean, because I know, I've heard that the deployments are usually shorter and kind of staggered. I mean, what was a typical, in those years, what was a typical deployment like for you?
It ranged from, usually from 7 to 9 months. I think I got extended on every one of them. And it was closer to a year each time.
Yeah. Cause
yeah.
No, I was going to say when we jumped in once every third jump in, they were like, oh, it's 3 weeks. Cause you're gonna lay the front line. You're gonna clear you're gonna secure the airfield and and we're gonna pull you out. And it's 15 months that first one, and it was just like, yeah, that sucked.
Yeah. Yeah, and you never really knew. And then as soon as you got back, and again, my experience is not unique, but it seemed like as soon as you got back, before you even knocked the dust off your kit, you were told, all right, don't get too comfortable because you're going back. And you just got, like, not only did I get used to that and my brothers, but like your family, like my kids to this day still talk about how they never really allowed themselves to get comfortable around me because they never knew when I was going to be gone again, and they couldn't, it just was too much. So they just pushed it all down.
Yeah. And talking to the live folks out there, if you guys have questions for Scott, please put them in the chats. Share your experiences. Any questions you have about anything we're talking about, we'll catch them here, and we'll ask the man of the hour. So man, again, you have such a long and historied career that like I could talk about this for hours, but I do want to touch on really the reason you're here and this incredible piece of work you've done. I've seen, I did a little bit of research. I try to educate myself. I've seen you wrote books. I believe you have children's books too, right? Telling kind of the mommy serves, daddy serves kind of thing, which I think is incredible. Real quick, let's touch on that just in case maybe there's somebody out there that needs something like this to help with their kids.
So here's the thing: is when I got out, I had a really crappy transition. But one of the things that I learned was, unlike a lot of the guys that come out of the special ops community and the combat arms community, they kind of pivot into high performance and elite type. It just wasn't really me. What did resonate with me though was I learned a lot about human connection. Like, I got pretty good at storytelling, active listening, what I call the Lawrenceian skills. After T.E. Lawrence, T.E. Lawrence went into the Middle East in 1917 and using old school interpersonal skills mobilized like entire confederations of tribes to fight. And I always was fascinated by that and the science of it. And how do you use storytelling and listening and nonverbal skills to connect and move people? When I got out, CQ, it was like, dang, there's a lot of low trust here in the United States too. What if I could teach that to business leaders? What if I could teach that to veterans, to go into an interview and use storytelling to own a room? And so I started doing that, and it worked really, really well. And so I started calling that rooftop leadership after the way we would fight on the rooftops in Afghanistan with locals. But on the nonprofit side, I was really struck by the fact that our veterans were, going and going and going and going, and then boom, you're back home. And how do you make that shift? And so I wanted to teach storytelling as a skill to veterans so that they could go into job interviews, talk to their kids about combat, whatever. And so my wife and I founded a nonprofit called The Hero's Journey. And we help warriors find their voice and tell their stories as they navigate transition. And whether that's children's books, We teach military kids how to use story and parents to use storytelling with their kids while they're deployed. I run storytelling courses, and then of course the play to show the power of storytelling to heal. So yeah, that's what we do. That's our nonprofit. And if the heroesjourney.org, HEROES, theheroesjourney.org. We got a lot of cool stuff out there that's free for anybody that wants to be a storyteller.
Absolutely. Yeah. We'll have somebody from the station. I know you're out there listening. Put it in the chats. We'll pin it to the top. That way people can link to it after the interview. Don't go anywhere. You guys can go check it out, because I took a peek around, and it was pretty amazing what you guys have put together and what have done. And I'm the kind of guy that, I'm a disabled vet, and I wasn't working for a while, and I wanted to expand my horizons. So that would have been at a different time. That would have been right up my alley to be like, oh, this looks incredible. I want in. That's how I got into stand-up comedy. I found a veterans class on stand-up comedy, and I started doing it. First question. Yeah. First question. So sorry, go ahead.
No, I just said that comedy is another form of storytelling.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And it's one of the oldest forms of connection in the world. And yeah, I would say anybody watching this, I do hope that you will consider leveling up with storytelling, no matter what you're doing, because it's a huge edge for veterans that we don't tap into enough.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. The arts in general is something that I think a lot of war fighters, right? Let's put it out there. Yeah. These guys are running on pure adrenaline and just high octane for so much of their lives, and sometimes don't tap into that creative a thing that's inside them, and then when they separate, I've seen it time and time again, that are struggling and looking and searching, and when they tap into that creative outlet, whether I've seen art, I've seen whatever, in comedy in my case, creative writing, some of the most powerful, beautiful, moving things can come out of some of the most hard-faced, stone-faced killers out there. Like these guys that are, the hardcore guys, and just these beautiful things come out and get untouched.
That's a total fact. And I saw it on the road with this tour. I saw it up close and personal, and I'm absolutely convinced of this. I'd like to share this with you real quick if I could.
Absolutely.
So when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do coming out of transition, I traveled around the country. I went to different workshops and stuff, and I went to this one. It was a world's greatest speaker, because I knew I wanted to do something kind of on the stage. I didn't know what. It was horrible. I didn't like it, but this guy was coming up to speak. His name was Bo Eason, and Bo was a former football player who was voted the dirtiest player in the NFL in the 80s. He was a free safety. They said he would hit you so hard that you would smell smoke when he hit you. And so like, I'm like, I got to see this guy. So he comes on stage, CQ, and the dude is moving like a friggin' predator, man. Like he's owning this. He's not even talking yet, but like everybody in there is like dialed into this guy. And when he starts to talk, he starts talking about playing for the Houston Oilers, and it just captivated the room. And I thought, good God. But what got me was he told the story about when he got his knee blown out for the last time, 7th time, knee blown out. They're carrying him off the field. And he said to himself, I'm going to go to prison. If I don't find something to do with this TNT inside of me, because all I know how to do is break another man. If I don't find something to do with this TNT inside of me and put it to use for good, I'm going to go to prison. Wow. And he came out, he became an actor. He became a playwright. He wrote a play called Runt of the Litter that went off Broadway, and is now like a world-renowned storyteller. He was my mentor. He's the guy that actually talked me into writing my play. And it's just crazy to me, like you just said, the most violent, traumatic environments in the world can generate some of the most compelling storytelling out there. And it's really good news for our community, because not only that, like Bo told me, Scott, it will heal you. And it absolutely will.
Absolutely. Yeah. I couldn't agree more with comedy. Somebody mentioned music. If you're musically inclined and that's the path forward, whatever it is, I always thoroughly encourage people, tap into yourself, experiment, try different artistic avenues. It could be paper mache, for all. It could be finger painting. Who knows? There's Marines out there. It could be finger painting. Whatever it is that you like, you'll find something, and you'll be ecstatic. And it doesn't have to be this thing that's going to hang in in a museum. It's about getting it out of yourself. It's about being, just yeah. I could talk about that for days. We're moving on. I love it so much. The first question actually came in was, "Is your book?" And I'm assuming not the kid's book, the adult book. Is it on Audible? Can they find it on Audible?
It is, and I read it myself. So you have to put up with my Arkansas public education while you're. But there's two that I think you might be interested in. One is called Game Changers: Going Local to Defeat Violent Extremists, and it's about the village program that we actually did that I think has a lot of merit in the world today. So that's one. The second one is called Mission America: Straight Talk About Military Transition. Both of those are on Amazon and Audible, and all 100% of the proceeds go to our nonprofit.
That's incredible. There you go. So guys, get out there, get a copy. Just get a copy. I mean, it's that simple. Check it out, read it. Okay, I want to dedicate this next amount of time to talk about Last Out, because I have to say, truly, deeply from inside of me, like, it was a beautiful thing to watch. I have all the utmost respect for your ability to write it and put it together and be in it, of all things. It's something that I've lost friends in combat and after combat too, a number of different reasons, and it always touches me to see something like this, and it really, that day, it's just the way the planets line up. And I was saying this to you earlier, I lost a friend due to COVID related injuries. He was a veteran. Just someone that, while not my best friend, is somebody that was important to me. That's somebody that meant something to me. And so then then that evening, sitting down and watching this play was so powerful. But it also put certain things into perspective, and I don't know, man. It almost, it's hard to put into words, but it made me, like, it was like, it's okay. It's okay to let go. It's okay to cherish what was, appreciate it for what was, and to let go. And so thank you, first of all, for putting that out there in the world. And it came to me at a very opportune time. But I just now that I can stop emotionally spewing all over you, let me ask, how did we get here? How did you get from this place of wanting to improve yourself and wanting to learn and wanting to write, wanting to create, to getting to writing this and putting it together and putting it out there for the people?
It was when, and first of all, thank you for that, and I'm so glad that it gave you that sense of peace, and that means everything to me. Like, that's all I care about. But when my oldest son Cody came to me, who was 3 years old when the towers fell, and he said, "Dad, I want to do what you did. I want to be a Green Beret." And at the time, this was several years ago. It hit me like a ton of bricks, to be honest with you. I didn't stick the chest out like the proud papa. I was actually a bit devastated by it, not because I wasn't proud of him, because I was. What bothered me was the way that our veterans, in my opinion, no one knew we were at war. Very few people in the country even had a clue that we were still engaged in places like Syria, Iraq, and Afghanistan. I started to see the way civilians were treating each other, with complete disdain and contempt reserved for one's enemies. And I thought, this is what my son is going to go do now. He's going to fight a war that I didn't finish. And I had a real problem with that. And so I had been a public speaker. I had written books. I'd been on the news. I'd done all the things that I thought I could do to try to inform the American people on the cost of war, to give politicians some friggin' sense of what a forever war does to this small percentage of the American population that just keeps going day after day, month after month, year after year. And I just was like, damn, man, I felt so helpless. And that was the guy, Bo, I was talking about. I was talking to him, and he's like, you know what, man, I keep telling you, you need to write a play. You need to write a play. Because I was already a storyteller. And I was like, all right, shit, what do you want me to do? He goes, just start writing. And so I did. And I created this character, Danny Patton, who is based on 3 team sergeants that I had that didn't make it home. And I created this, and Danny, is killed in the very first scene. and he wants to go to Valhalla and know peace, but he can't. And he's hanging on to something. But he doesn't know what he's hanging on to. And so his buddies, called operators, come back down from Valhalla, take him through his life, and reintroduce him to the people that made his heart pump the most blood during this forever war. And at some point along the way, he figures out what it is and lets go, like you just said. And that just, I don't know. I moved to Penn. I can't claim any of it. A lot of friends talked to me as I wrote for 2 years. And my wife thought I was crazy for a while, and then she got on board with it, and she gave me the spouse's side that I didn't have, where the family now emerged as the hero. And I know I'm babbling, CQ, but it took 2 years to write it. It took another year for me to complete my midlife crisis and learn how to act. I went to New York City secretly to study under Larry Moss. It took another year to put it on its feet, another year to tour. So like it was, all in all, it's been like a 5-year thing. And I don't know how any of it happened. Like, honestly, I don't. Like, I can't claim any of it. I think I was a vehicle to tell a story of a bunch of guys and girls that were friggin' amazing people. None of it has anything to do with me. I was just a guy lucky enough to tell the story.
Yeah. Do you think it's, I hear this a lot in that, like, I don't know how I got here, but it's like, it was just one foot in front of the other, right? It's like, look down, next step, next step, next step. And then here you are.
So I wrote a scene about a silly band. I don't know if you can see that. And my son Braden gave it to me. We called it the Magic Silly Band. And I wrote a little scene for a one-person story around that silly band as part of a project for my theater class. And I did it at a community theater, and like everybody was like really broken up after I did it. It's only 5 minutes. They're like, that's a play. So I built the whole play around this silly band. We didn't have a cast. We didn't have any money. My wife and I sunk all of our savings into this thing. There wasn't a theater in Tampa that would even rent a space because they didn't know, like, they're like, none of us were, only one of us was a professional actor really at the time. The other three were combat veterans. And so they thought it was some kind of pro-war thing. So we ended up having to rent a room at the Marriott. And we rented all our lights, all our sounds. 300 people came to bear witness to my midlife crisis, and we performed it on Veterans Day 2019, and it brought the house down. We did a talk back afterwards, and everybody said, you need to go on tour. So we put together a tour. We went to 16 cities. We performed for 5,000 people total, cafeterias, gymnasiums, schools. We put 28,000 miles on a U-Haul van. We performed for 36 Gold Star families, brought them up on stage afterwards. We honored something like 2,500 Vietnam veterans, and we did 250 PTS interventions in the lobby with our own counselors. So we were the little play that could, and it was a great ride.
It's incredible. I mean, it makes me think back to your, the SF training where you're like, I just made it happen. I knew I had to do it, and it was just getting through it. It was just getting to the other side of it. Learn from your failures, keep going, and never stop. That's incredible.
And it was terrifying. And I think that's again, I think it's cool that you bring that up, because that was, one thing I have learned in my life is that when you play a game bigger than yourself and you try to serve something bigger than yourself, it's going to be terrifying. Like, if it feels comfortable, you're probably pulling back and you're not really in it. And so it was a terrifying experience, but it was by far the most rewarding thing I've ever done, particularly when we launched the film and sitting at Fort Bragg with your buddy Ice and looking at those Gold Star family members and the reactions that they had. Like, man, I'll never forget that.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. And there's so much, and I always try not to give spoilers for those that wanted to go check it out, but there's so much incredible stuff in this, and like you said, obviously capturing your experience, and I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot of experience, right? It's a long career, but then also capturing the family aspect. What does this do to the spouse? And something we don't see a lot of, what does it do to the children? How does it affect them? How do they see us? How do we see them? How do we interact with them? How do we, switch it on and off, right? The combat, non-combat, combat, non-combat, and what does it do? And you capture all these different elements that, you can make a movie, a play about each one individually, and you really did balance it well and put it in this concise story. I there's a moment when I was watching it, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna pull through this. He's gonna pull through this. He's gonna survive, and he's gonna go back. And then I felt that switch where like, oh no, this is not a story of overcoming the worst thing that could happen. This is a story of letting go, of realizing what you've been through, what the impact you've had, and letting go. And it was incredible. It was incredible.
No, an elegy by definition is a lament for the dead, and I wanted to. There's so much pain around this long war that we've been in, plus our Vietnam veterans. I think about, my God, what they've been through. I mean, my goodness. And I wanted to tell a story where an NCO who had run the miles and paid this ultimate sacrifice, he could deliver his words to the world. And the only way that could happen is if he was on the other side. Mm. And that was so important, CQ, was that it was really, if you really peel this film back, and this is what I tell veterans all the time, this film is for us, but it's really for the civilians and the politicians. I mean, at the end of the day, I wrote it because I want them, if only for 2 hours and 20 minutes, to feel what it's like to say goodbye to your spouse at the airfield, to hold your little boy when you know you're leaving the next day, to hold your best friend or your buddy in his final moments, right? Or to feel the guilt that you could have done more or run a little bit faster, right? I want them to feel that. I'm okay if it wrecks them. In fact, my writing coach, Carl, up in New York City, he said, Scott, if you're really going to get civilians to get this and pay attention, you're going to have to stand on their chest cavity for 2 hours and 20 minutes. And that's what we tried to do. And I think we did.
Yeah. Make it hard to breathe. Yeah. And it's something, it's so easy, to make the veteran the hero, make the warrior the hero.
Yeah.
From what I took away in this, the hero was the family. The hero was the wife and the child that got him to where he needed to be.
Absolutely. And, this is a story about redemption. I mean, at the end of the day, this is a story about redemption. It is a story about letting go of pain and finding hope and peace, right? And I believe that. I believe it in my heart, and I believe that every single person that served deserves that, and everybody does, really. But the military family, in my estimation, is the most undervoiced segment of the American population out there. Like they endure and deal with so much, and they don't have a voice. Like they don't have a voice at all. And I believe this film gives them a voice in a way that maybe they didn't have before. And it's informed by thousands of military spouses and kids, not just my own. Right. We did talkbacks after every show, CQ, and we would rewrite the script based on inputs from spouses and kids. And I'm proud to say that this script is where it is, based on dozens of talkbacks and some pretty poignant comments from some spouses and kids after each show to make it better. So yeah, I'm glad you, but yes, they are indeed the hero in the story.
Yeah, you bring up an excellent point too, because I could see a guy in uniform, dress uniform, and I can see the medals. I can see the rank. I can see the combat tours, and I can instantly know, wow, that guy's been through some shit. That guy's been here, there, the other place. You can't look at the spouse and see that same thing. You have no idea what they've been through, what they've endured. The medal for missed birthdays and the slash for, missed anniversaries and Christmases. And it really, that really does hit home for those guys that are the gals, everybody that's kind of left behind for us to do what we do. So
yeah, we did a hot wash tonight on it, and we had a host, name's Jason. He's a fighter pilot on Shaw Air Force Base, and he watched it they showed it on Shaw Air Force Base, which we were really happy about. And he watched it with his wife the night before. And, this is a fighter pilot family. So they didn't spend, and Jason even said, like, our experience is different than a lot of Army experiences. He said, but when it was over, like, his wife goes, that was my life. Like that was my life. That was, and she totally related to Lynn, who was an Army spouse. And that meant so much to me because this is not a story about it is about a Green Beret. This is a universal story about war and service and family. And I hope that people will watch it because even though parts of it are hard to watch, it's how we reconnect to our story about our life and the miles that we ran and the scars that we endured. And I think we have to make peace with that, and we deserve to make peace with that. And story is how we've done it for thousands of years.
Yeah.
And it's no different. This is just old school, unapologetic storytelling is all it is. We have 7 wooden blocks, a wall of honor, a few costumes, and that's it. And we cover about 14,000 miles in 13 years, with 16 characters or some craziness.
Yeah, it's incredible. It's incredible with what you're able to do with what you have. There's a question in the chats. Christopher says, how do I get involved more? This is interesting, especially the playwright aspect of it. So does he go to the website? Does he reach out for more? How do these guys get involved?
Okay, so Christopher, this is something I'm really excited about. Is I want you to, I'm going to give you guys my email, and you can just email me. Okay, it's scott@rooftopleadership.com. Send me an email. But what we're doing with the hero's journey that I'm super excited about, CQ, is all of our proceeds for this film. This is a non-profit project. So all the proceeds for the film, we are going to build in Tampa, Florida, a veteran performing arts center called Better Ground. Because one of the things that we learned on the road, and bringing it back to what you opened up with, is, man, there is so many storytellers in our ranks and in our families, and their stories need to be heard. Like they are, whether it's rap, comedy, poetry, plays, music, you name it. And so what we're going to do is we're already in the process. We're scoping the place out now, but it's going to be a performing arts center where you can come, study, take classes, perform, put your play up, we're going to have different shows where it's for veterans and military family members and first responders only on the stage and performing for our community and our citizenry. So that's one way right there. Is get involved with us right now because we're ground floor on this. And we're going to be doing a lot of stuff. Plus, we have a lot of virtual courses on storytelling. I teach courses on storytelling in person, the same stuff I teach to Fortune 500 CEOs. I teach to veterans. So if you'll just shoot me an email, we'll get you involved in our tribe. We're an eclectic group of mutts. We're all Gold Star family members, wounded warriors, veterans, but it's a cool group. And I feel like we're doing big stuff in the world. Like we're taking this thing on a national launch, CQ, on September 11. We're launching this thing nationally on platforms. So it will be available again on September 11, the 20-year anniversary of 9/11, and the day that the last out really do come out. We're going to have this thing on Roku, Amazon Prime, and so I'd love to have Christopher and others involved with us.
Absolutely. I'll be reaching out myself because I think this is incredible and I want to participate. So one more time, it was Scott at
rooftopleadership.com.
Rooftopleadership.com.
Yep.
All right.
The other thing too, CQ, is you think about this, man. Like we've got 800,000 of Afghan war veterans, more than that, Iraq war veterans, all of their family members. When we leave Afghanistan on 9/11/2021, that's going to be a rough moment, I think, for a lot of us. And I want this story to be out there in a big way. And so hopefully you and I can stay connected on that. I think it's important that we have this story there. The other thing too, I want to point this out is what we do differently too with this show is we actually have our trauma counselors are on standby when we put this thing up. We did multiple PTS interventions and just talks with people that got emotionally connected to the story and they just needed to talk to somebody. We've always got counselors standing by. And we found that really this is a great way to open up and explore and heal trauma. And so, that's another aspect of this that hopefully we can do more of in the coming months.
Yeah. And I got a picture here. I'm looking at, it looks like you guys have like t-shirts and hats and the books, things that people can purchase to contribute to kind of what you're doing here, right?
Absolutely. And there's a place there to donate. And again, all the proceeds right now, we're in phase 2. So we're going to our national launch. So we're trying to raise 100K because we're putting the whole thing up ourselves, the marketing, everything. So that's our next. And then after that, all proceeds are going to go to this Performing Arts Center, which I hope to have, man, I would really like to have it open by the first quarter of 2022. And, training and putting up shows and, hopefully some of the people watching have some ideas on what they'd like to do on stage, because I think there's a lot of talent out there, man.
Absolutely. I let's stay say parking lot that, but we're gonna stay connected because I might have know some things and know some people. We'll talk. But we're getting to the end of time, man, and I could talk to you about this for forever. But we do like to respect our people's time. We asked for an hour. So real quick before we get out of here, I want to give you the last word. Promote what you want to promote. I know we've been doing it for the past little bit, but where can people find you? How can they reach you? Where can they see you? How can they support? The floor is yours.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I'll just keep it simple. I think if you go to lastoutfilm.com, there is everything that you could want to know about this project. Not just the film, but go to the video page, look at the Gold Star families, look at it's been a ride, man, and we're just getting warmed up. We don't need people outside the veteran community to tell our story. We can tell our story. And this is combat veterans and military family members telling their story. And this is our chance to come together as a community 20 years after 9/11 and really show the country who we are, what we did, and what we have to offer this country, and to heal our families and our kids in the process and ourselves. So my ask would just be go to lastoutfilm.com, shoot me an email at scott@rooftopleadership.com, but get involved because there's a lot of work to be done, and storytelling is a big way to do it. And whether you're doing that story on yourself or helping us tell the story, the country needs it.
Yes, Last Out. It was lastoutplay.com or lastoutfilm, because I see somebody put a
either one will get you there.
Okay.
Either one, lastoutplay.com or lastoutfilm.com. And again, check out all the stuff. There's some cool stuff.
Fantastic. Scott, man, you've been incredible. Like I said, I got a million more questions. We'll talk offline, but you are a friend of the show. Please, anytime you want to come back, we'll talk more. I'd love to break down the psychology of it and the method of the writing and all that. Oh, I love all this stuff. I get off on this stuff. So, we can we'll chit chat, but yes, anytime you have anything, maybe for the grand opening of the school, we'll have you back on. We'll talk about it. I mean, I can't wait to see what you can do, man. I'm very excited to see it happen.
Thank you, brother. And thanks to WTF for streaming it. We had over 22,000 views. Thanks to you guys. A lot of hearts healed, a lot of Gold Stars affected, a lot of combat veterans, connected with. So you guys are awesome. And thank you for all that you did to step up and make this thing what it is. We could not have done it without you. I'm not even kidding.
Hey, I mean, the fans, you guys are awesome, and the community's awesome. And we got big things. We're going to be doing big things, man. I'm excited. I'm excited for the future. So guys, I'm going to toss it to a quick break. We'll be right back with more show right after this.
You're listening to the sounds of WTF Nation Radio.
You got me staring out the window, 8 hours later, you're a no-show. Right here, right now. I'm better without you. You're always on my mind. Right here, right now. I'm better without you. That is for some time. Right now, I know that I'm better on my own.
Voice of U.S. Army, WTF Moments. This is WTF Nation Radio.
Hey guys, welcome back. Notice, when did my light turn off? I don't know when my light turned off. I guess that's the cue that it's time. It's done. It's over. Show's good. Wow. What a great conversation we just had with Scott Mann. There's never enough time. There's never enough time to really get into it and really break it down and really bring it to you guys. But I think we did a pretty good job. I think we did all right. Thank you guys for hanging out with us as always. This is the highlight of my week. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoy getting to share my passion for pop culture nonsense and bring you guys some really cool and fun interviews. And then and then go home. I see you out there, Mike. Hey, he says great show. Thank you, man. And Pete, I saw your question from 10 minutes ago. I apologize. Can a non-military person help too? Absolutely. I mean, I'm going to speak for Scott on that one, where the more people that come together to get the message out there and educate people and spread awareness and contribute, whether it's contribute financially with money, contribute time and effort, contribute spreading the word, whatever it is that you can contribute to help this project. As much as I love talking to Clark Gregg from the Avengers, and that's awesome. But getting to sit down with a guy who's really doing a passion project that has meaning, that has value, that could change lives, that could save lives. Nobody's claiming that's what this is. This isn't whatever. But I watched it, man. It was powerful, and I highly recommend find it out there. It's going to be available. It's he said 9/11 this year. It's going to be available widespread. It's going to be Roku, Amazon Prime, all over the place. It's going to be there. And one of the things I really wanted to ask him, and I didn't get the chance to, in that bringing it to life on the stage, and then the switch to filming it, and then being able to add, there's moments of intercut with footage, intercut with kind of special effects, and intercut with, different things that wouldn't have been possible to do live the way they did in film. And there was more I wanted to ask, and we just didn't have the time, and I didn't want to drag this guy through it. But it's worth a watch. I think it's still in the archives on the page, on the WTF Nation page, and if not, then catch it when it comes out September 11th. I'll mention. I'll bring it back up when the time comes, because it's moving. It's powerful. It's the true story for a lot of people, and so that's awesome. And I see King. Thank you. Inspiring conversation. Yeah. Like, how can you not feel motivated by this guy who's like, I had to do it, so I did it. I don't even know how I got here. Just one. It's the old adage, man. You put one foot in front of the other, and you know, those are the journey of 1,000,000 miles starts with one step, and that's it. That's all it is. Is do the one step and then do the show. So I've waxed poetic enough for tonight. I am Sans co-host, so you've been listening to Pop Culture Warrior. What else we got for you this week? Well, today's Tuesday, so it's Pop Culture Warrior. Wednesday, as my friend Radar says, is a Donza day of no scheduled activities. Thursdays, you've got Sergeant's Time. Ice and Spanky doing all the Sergeant stuff. Friday Night Freedom, Kaz and Pookie, probably. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see who's there. Saturday, Sunday, we don't do shows. Maybe we have other surprises. I don't know. We'll find out. And then Monday, the Monday edition, Ice and Flash doing their thing, which we had Ice earlier, which was nice. We don't get Ice very often on this show, so it's always nice to hear him. It's awesome, dude. And then you're back to Pop Culture Warrior. Well, not next week, because next week, like I said, we are off. We're off. I'm gonna throw up. I'm gonna throw up some videos or something. I got a couple ideas what we can do since I'm not live next Tuesday. I'll be on the beach somewhere sipping pina coladas. But yeah, no, we'll have something up on air for you guys. Maybe one of my favorite interviews, maybe surprise video. I don't know. We'll see. And then the next week the next week after is the 2010 FaceTime live from the beach. You know what? Don't tempt me, Scott. You don't want to see this in like a Speedo. Don't tempt me, man. I'll go live from the beach. You ain't gonna like what you see though. I'm gonna look like a lobster in a thong. You don't want to see that. So no show the 15th, but on the 22nd of June, I am so excited. If you are within my age range, I don't know if y'all are. Scott says, I want to see the beach, man. I'm in Missouri. Yeah, I hear you, bud. I'll post some pictures. Like the page on Facebook, the Pop Culture Warrior page. Like it. I'll post some pictures. I'll show y'all what I'm up to. Do some goofy shit. I don't know. And then who knows? Maybe I'm not going to do it on the radio page, but definitely from the Pop Culture Warrior page, I might do a quick live at time and show you guys where I'm at and what I'm doing from the neck up. Nobody wants to see that. But yeah, so the 22nd, I'm super excited when I get back from vacation because we have someone that I grew up with, man. Rob Paulson, he is super talented voice actor. He's done hundreds of voices for cartoon and film and TV. One of the most famous, obviously, is Pinky from Pinky and the Brain on the Animaniacs. He's also Yakko. I always mix him up. Yakko, Wacko, Dot. Yakko. He was Yakko on the Animaniacs. So that's gonna be a really, really, really fun conversation. We'll see if we can draw out some of the voices. I would love to hear, Pinky do the voice of WTF Nation Radio or whatever. That'd be a funny one. It'd be a funny one to do. So, all right, guys, this has been fun. I appreciate you guys for checking us out and doing the thing. Don't forget to what did people say? Like, share, subscribe, do the thing, push the button, ring the bell, whatever. Do that stuff. If you're so inclined and you really want to support the channel, there is a Patreon page, patreon.com/popculturewarrior. I'm doing a bunch of exclusive content, giveaway stuff, rewards programs, videos, and we're going to do a bunch of stuff. I want to make it super worth it because, and we've already got, I think, 1 or 2 Patreons already, so that's great. But like, share, sacrifice your firstborn. Yep, that's it. Don't forget to like, share, sacrifice your firstborn. We appreciate you. And the Patreon page is going to be really cool. It's as the community builds, it's going to get more and more interactive. You guys will basically run the show and have ownership of it and get to participate. You'll see things before anybody else gets to see them. exclusive votes in how we do things and certain things, and lots of stuff. Check it out. You'll see what I have. More to come. And then the last one is the YouTube page, youtube.com/PCW Rewind, where I have clipped all the greatest interviews and packaged them in neat little packages for you to enjoy. So if you like this interview, you won't get all this nonsense after it. It'll just be a nice tight interview where you get to hear the stuff and move on. And then other clips of me doing stand-up comedy and other stuff. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys. I'm done pitching. I'm done selling. Appreciate you all. You guys are awesome. You guys make it fun every Tuesday. So appreciate you guys showing up. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of another edition of Pop Culture Warrior. I'm CQ. Radar should be right about here. He says goodnight to you as well. Love you all. Peace. Be good. See you next week. Shots.
You